Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. So in this video, we're going to show you how to defend and some of the biggest mistakes that we see a lot of people making. So if you're really bad at defending, then we think this video is going to be very, very helpful and it's going to help you improve instantly. So we're going to show you how to apply some of these strategies and also some of the biggest mistakes that people make. So if you want to get better at defending, then make sure you stick around right to the end. So in order for us to keep producing videos like this, make sure you smash that like button, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you turn on that notifications bell so that you know exactly when we release new content. So now the biggest mistake that we see a lot of people make when they're defending is they don't do a good enough job of tracking runners in behind. You can see this great example right here. Rudi Völler, lays it off to Mbappe, and you can see straight away it's a simple give and go. He's running in behind the defense, and you can see that at this point we're controlling the midfielder. Now you need to be able to recognize that the ball is going in behind, and a lot of people don't do that. And you can see what happens is that ball does go in behind, over the top, chip through ball. Your defenders obviously can't keep up, they haven't got the pace, and then Völler is able to finish. And then same situation yet again. This time it's Salah running in behind. You can see again, we're controlling the midfielder. We're not tracking the runner, and he's able to just play that ball over the top. This time around, he doesn't manage to get a chance or get a goal from it. You can see it just puts him in a dangerous situation by not tracking that runner. So now what should you do, and what are you supposed to do in this situation? Well, we've already hinted on it right there. You've got to track the runner. You can see this is another great example of how we really are supposed to defend in this instance. Now, again, Rudi Völler, same player, making that run in behind. Now, what do we need to do? Instead of pressing the ball player, give him space, let him have space. It's much more dangerous, the space in behind, because your defenders are never going to be able to keep pace with the strikers. So you always need to make sure that you do a good job of tracking the runner first, and then once the runner runs offside, then you can go and press the guy on the ball, because you can't play that ball over the top. And you can see that Van Dijk really tracks that runner perfectly well this time around. He tries that through ball over the top, but Van Dijk's got the speed, got the position to be able to shut it down straight away. So now another thing that we see a lot of people do, and a lot of people are very, very aggressive when they defend. Now, what do we mean when we say aggressive? A lot of people are lunging into tackles. A lot of people are being aggressive and sort of jumping in and trying to win that ball back as high up the pitch as possible. Whether that mean dragging centre-backs out of position, dragging full-backs out of position. That's what we mean when we talk about being aggressive. So now it's important to know, when should you be aggressive? Now this is a really good example of showing aggressiveness and also how to be patient. You can see we try and be really aggressive in this situation. We see that I've got a nice back five in there. Obviously the fullback is in, or the wing back's in a really good position, but we drag that wing back into that midfielder. This is something a lot of people do. People drag that wing back into that midfielder, and you can see right at the bottom of the screen, I believe it's Heung-min Son. He's got a free running behind if this guy wants it. We've dragged that fullback out of position. A lot of people make this simple mistake, and you just shouldn't do this at all. And this is where a lot of people's troubles come in, when they're trying to be too aggressive, trying to drag that fullback, trying to drag a centre back forwards out of position. And you can see we try to slide in, it doesn't work, and now it leaves our centre back in a really bad position, and us in a really bad position, because now the centre back has got to track his striker in the middle, who he's supposed to be tracking, but he's now also going to be careful for Son on the outside. You can see the guy on the ball has got two options. You can either play the ball through to Son, or you can play the ball through to I think it's Cruyff in that midfield spot. Now in situations like this, it is always better to make sure you track the inside runner. It's always so much more dangerous to track Cruyff in this situation and leave Son. Let your fullback get back in position. Let your winger get back in position. Track the midfield runner. Track the guy through the middle of the pitch. It's so much more dangerous of a run. And you can see he then tries to force that. This is exactly a perfect example. He tries to force that ball inside, and it doesn't work. We're able to intercept it and stop the attack. So if you're enjoying this video and you found it helpful so far, please leave a like on the video and make sure you leave a comment, as this goes a long way to help and support our channel, and we really do appreciate it. So let's get back into it. So now, when are we supposed to be aggressive? In what situations is it good to be aggressive? Now here's a good little list. Two points when you can be aggressive. When your opponents are sprinting in midfield, meaning they take a heavy touch and then you can be aggressive and jump right in. Or when your opponent has got no options, so meaning maybe it's just his two strikers up the top end of the field and you've got 5 defenders and 2 mids, then you can afford to be aggressive because you've got the numbers on your side. So you can see this example right here. He takes that big touch with Pele and he's only got that one pass inside to Cruyff. But you can see we've got obviously 6 players against his 2 attackers. So we can afford to be aggressive in this situation because we've got the numbers on our side. And then Van Dijk gets in there, wins that ball. And it actually comes and results in us actually scoring a goal. I believe it's with Pele, I think it is. Ends up scoring that goal. And yet again, same situation. Now this is late on in a game, as you can see it's the 90th minute, so we can afford to be aggressive, but he's sprinting in midfield again with, I believe it's Nkunku, he's sprinting with Nkunku, and we can obviously be aggressive in this situation. We've got the numbers on our side, he's got no one around him, he's got no options, he's got no one to pass to, so he's just sprinting for the sake of sprinting, and we can be aggressive in situations like this. He's taking heavy touches, he's got no passing options. This is the time when to be aggressive. You can see the difference when you should be aggressive versus when you shouldn't be aggressive. If your opponent has got plenty of space and he's got options and he's not sprinting, you don't be aggressive because the attacker is always in control in situations like that. And you can see we're able to slide in perfectly, not just once, but twice with Nkunku, making 2 perfect sliding tackles. And then again, the ball falls straight to Pele. Great little skill on the inside and then a pass inside to be able to get a goal from that aggressive defending. But one of the things that you need to learn how to do is you need to be a patient defender. And that's kind of where this whole video is crescendoing. You need to be a patient defender. You can see in this scenario, he's got one player up that top end of the pitch. He's got Pele and that's it. And you can see how he's just able to almost trap him in to our 4 players. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 defenders right there. And he's got no passes to anyone. So one of the things when it comes to defending that you've got to be really, nailed in on is not lunging into tackles, making sure you use your midfielders to press and not pulling those defenders, those fullbacks, those centre-backs. Do not pull those guys out of position. Don't be aggressive. We just talked about that. And make sure you use the left trigger or the L2 button to jockey when you're trying to defend space. So in this situation right here, we don't need to be sprinting because we're not in an urgent situation. We've got a 1-on-4. We're able to calmly and just very calculated defend this situation. We're able to take that ball off him by just using the left trigger, not using the B button to tackle. You don't need to use that button very, very often because most of the time you're just able to use the left trigger and you're able to just sort of step into the attacker and tackling. You don't really need to use the B button unless you're being aggressive. And we've already talked about when it's really good to be aggressive in the situations. It's really important. You can see a whole plethora of examples here showing us how we're defending and just showing that we're not diving these tackles. We're not being aggressive, making sure that you're keeping that shape, making sure you're tracking those runners. And just so you can see, we're putting it all together. Make sure you're reading the passing lanes. It's just really important that you put all these things together, all these tips, together, and you become a real complete defender. And it really starts top to bottom, making sure that you're tracking any runners in behind first. Once you've tracked the runners in behind in that guy's run offside, then you can sort of like weigh up, okay, is it okay for me to go in and be aggressive, or does he have a potential pass on that I need to worry about? If he doesn't, you can maybe go and cross a passing lane. Then you can go and be aggressive and win the ball back. And you see how when we pair all these things together, there's been plenty of scenarios in this video, plenty of clips in this video. You can see whether we've been aggressive or whether we've been passively defending, that it's yielded in chances and actually 3 or 4 goals for us just because of the way we've defended at the top end of the pitch. So that's the thing that's important as well. Defending starts at the top end of the pitch, not necessarily in your own box. So we hope these tips help in you becoming a better defender. We've covered on how to be a good passive defender. We've covered some of the biggest mistakes that people make. And we've also covered the best times that it is to be aggressive and when you need to use that aggressive defending and the most effective points and positions to be an aggressive defender. And just generally how to become a more complete defender in FIFA 23 this year. So in order for us to keep producing videos like this, then we do need your help with a few things. So make sure that you hit the like button, make sure that you subscribe, and make sure you hit that notifications bell. And fourthly, make sure you leave a comment below with any other topics that you want us to cover in videos going forwards. And fifth, if you want to ask us any more questions, feel free to join our Discord. The link to that is down in the description. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.